Hey everybody, Kat Walski here, checking in with another one of our hashtag Star Trek Picard discussions videos. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the theories surrounding the return of the filming location known as Vasquez Rocks for Star Trek Picard. Let's jump into it. So, for those of you who are not aware, Vasquez Rocks has been used as the filming location for Star Trek a whopping 10 times, dating all the way back to the original series in 1966, and most recently in the 2009 Star Trek film directed by J.J. Abrams. Now, we know from the Star Trek Picard trailer that came out during San Diego Comic-Con that Picard does return to this location, but it's not quite clear as to what it is that he's doing there. Now, using a little bit of sleuthing detectiveness, I have figured out that Michelle Hurd's character of Raffi Musiker, I don't know how you say that name, who is supposedly a character that has been knowing Picard for a long time and is struggling with some kind of issues with her past, possibly a substance abuse problem related back to her potentially being a former operative of Section 31. It looks like the trailer that she's standing inside of outside seems to be the same trailer that was found by a random patron that was walking through the Vasquez Rocks area that looks like the set that they built outside. And we see Picard walking in the Vasquez Rocks area as well. So we know that the show does go back there and that her character is most likely there, but we don't know what it actually means for the plot. Is this connected to something in the past for the Star Trek franchise, or is this just another usage of the Vasquez Rocks filming location moving forward in time? So let's break down the four theories that I'm kind of working with here. So the first one, and the simplest answer really, is that there are indeed financial benefits to filming at this location, and it's relatively close to the actual studio that Picard is filming at in California. So it could just be a matter of convenience that they're filming there and it's an easy location and it looks kind of strange enough with the rocks that it could possibly work. The second theory is that it's also a very easy way to pay respect and pay homage to the show's connection to the larger Star Trek franchise, which it again has been done 10 times in the past. So it's definitely something that other directors and creative teams have done, so it's not the craziest thing in the world. These stories weren't necessarily connected in any way. They were just going back there to show like, hey, we're at Vasquez Rocks as well. So it's definitely been done quite often through TNG, Voyager, TOS, and I believe Enterprise also had one as well, and making its appearance in films in Star Trek 2009, and I want to say The Voyage Home, but don't quote me on that. The third theory, which is the one that I like the most, which is that it is the Mintakan homeworld from the TNG episode Who Watches the Watchers. So, for those of you that don't remember that Mintakans are a kind of proto-Vulcan species, meaning that they share similar ancestry or genetic makeup to Vulcans. But it's not 100% clear how that group arrived on Mintak 3, but they look kind of similar to Vulcans and Romulans kind of at the same time. They share kind of similar kind of physical features there, but they're developing much farther slower than the other two races that we're aware of, the Romulans and Vulcans being the two primary ones, and there's a couple of other proto-Vulcan species that connect to that, but they're obviously way further back than the other races that are out there inside of the Alpha and Beta quadrants, and it's not clear as to why that is also the case, but nevertheless, during the episode of TNG Who Watches the Watchers, there is an outpost there that gets uncovered by the Mintakans. Picard accidentally becomes pseudo-deity for them by accident, and there is a contamination and a violation a little bit of the Prime Directive and a bit of a contamination of their culture, and at the end, Picard basically says, we're not going to initiate formal first contact because y'all ain't ready for it yet, but he implies a little bit that because now that they know that there are life on other planets, that there may be an advancement of their species on that planet as a whole, technology and culturally. We don't see or hear from the Mintakans again in Alpha Canon after that, but it is possible that the Mintakans got to the point where the Federation did initiate formal first contact and that this homeworld, because it is, based off what we can tell, relatively unpopulated, could have served as a refugee homeworld for the Romulans after the destruction of Romulus, which is again tied back to the plot of Star Trek Picard. And we do see this interesting little town here that we do know based off of zooming in effects that there are what appear to be Romulans kind of sitting and standing around in this area. Now this could easily be an evolution of what the Mintakans were using as houses and homes and stuff like that. So this could be a refugee settlement on Mintakan 3. I personally like the idea, but it's also very likely that this is just some random planet and that we didn't go back to the Mintakans, but that is one of the larger theories that I think a lot of people like and that I like myself. The fourth and final theory I want to talk about is the Metrons. Now, some of you may remember that the obviously most widely known appearance of Vasquez Rocks is Arena, where Kirk did fight with the Gorn during that, physical confrontation that they had. And I talked about that in a video a few weeks ago where I think I confused myself and a few other people saying that the Arena fight was on Cestus 3. Cestus 3 was where the outpost was, where they initially fought the Gorn with the mortar attacks and all that stuff like that. Then they chased the Gorn. The Metrons intervened and then put them onto this planet, Kirk and the Gorn captain onto this planet to fight in the, iconic Arena fight there. So a lot of people assumed that the planet they went onto was the Metron homeworld or some kind of Metron world in general, or perhaps they went back to Cestus 3 and put them back there because it kind of looked physically similar, but I don't really know for sure. But we don't know exactly what the planet was that was used by the Metrons for the Arena show, but we do know that the Metrons were involved there, and it's possible that Picard may be looking to get some help from the Metrons. I don't really know. I don't find this theory particularly that engaging, I guess, or most likely. The last thing that we heard Alpha Canon-wise from the Metrons is the Metron Consortium that was, I think, teased a little bit inside of Deep Space Nine, but it was never actually confirmed on the screen if that was related to the Metrons we saw in the original series. Star Trek Online did go ahead and make that connection, but that's all beta canon stuff, so we can't exactly state if that's going to be accurate or not. Anyways, guys and gals, that kind of wraps up the 4 different theories as to why Vasquez Rocks are going to be returning. I'm curious to hear what you think the reason for this show may be returning to this filming location. Do you think it's a homage to the franchise's history filming at this location, or do you think that there's going to be some kind of connection with the Mintakans, or do you think it's the Metron thing, or what do you guys think it is? I'm curious to hear what you guys and gals think about it. Get those ideas up down below, and we'll go ahead and get that conversation started. And I will see all of y'all next time. Live long and prosper, my Trekkies!